Today we are going to be dispelling a few myths about epidural anesthesia for childbirth and also confirming a few facts which you might be thinking it is a myth, but it is a truth in reality. So let's go into the video. Hi friends, I am Dr. Ann, an anesthetist, a doctor, and welcome to another dose of happiness and health. Before I dive into this video, I would like to share a bit of statistics. When you take all the unanesthetized women, 2/3 of them, and I have to say 2/3, 66% of women describe childbirth as horrible, excruciating, distressing. Those are very sharp words, and you can turn all those words into pleasant, quiet, calm birthing experience with the help of epidural anesthesia. So that's my topic for today. So today we are going to be diving into a few myths and facts about epidural anesthesia, and let's see which of them are myths and which of them are facts, and let's all learn a little bit about epidural anesthesia. So see you in the video. The first statement I would like to state is everyone in labor can get an epidural anesthesia. That is not true. I mean, you might be watching this video because you might be thinking of getting epidural for your labor, and you might be thinking, okay, I am going to get an epidural for my labor and I am going to breeze through delivery. But sometimes you might not be able to get an epidural because of certain reasons. You might have an allergy to the medication used for labor analgesia. You might be on blood thinners which will have to be stopped prior to childbirth, or maybe you could have fever, maybe you could have some infection in the site where the injection will be given. There are a lot of contraindications to say for epidural, and you can't just go into the hospital and say I want an epidural for my childbirth, because it's something that has to be planned. You will have to be evaluated because it's a complex procedure. You will have to see your anesthetist in advance, and he has to see if you are fit for having an epidural for childbirth. So it's not true that everyone can get an epidural for the childbirth. You will have to consult your obstetrician and your anesthetist to see if you are fit to have an epidural, and only then you can have epidural for your labor. And another point that I would like to add over here is if you are not in active labor, you might be denied an epidural because it won't be necessary. You're not actually in labor, and your obstetrician might want to wait a little bit before you are given an epidural. So that can be a reason why you are refused an epidural. Or maybe you're too along in your labor. Each obstetrician has a different value, but maybe you're at 6 centimeters or 8 centimeters. It depends on your obstetrician. If you are too along in your labor, you might not be given an epidural because labor is almost done. You're going to have your baby and there's no point. You've already experienced all the pain. So if you're too early in labor or too late in labor, you might not be given an epidural. So it's always best that if you are planning of having an epidural for your delivery, it's always best that you talk with your obstetrician during your antenatal visits to see if an anesthetist is available, because you can't just walk in and say I want an epidural today, because the anesthetist might be busy. There might be other people who require cesarean section and they are given priority. People who are having cesarean section are given priority compared to those who are in a normal labor who need an epidural. So your anesthetist will probably going over there to see them, to give anesthesia for them, and he might not be available to give you anesthesia. So it's always best that you talk with your obstetrician if you need an epidural, if you need epidural anesthesia for your labor, and they will schedule an appointment with your anesthetist and they will book your anesthetist so that he is free and he can come over and give you anesthesia. In case if your anesthetist is very busy, he might squeeze in some time and come have a look. So don't like ask in the neck of the moment like I want epidural. That is very hard. So what I would like to tell about this myth is everyone is not a candidate for epidural anesthesia for childbirth. There are contraindications, and it depends on how long along in labor you are. And now going over to my second statement, epidural anesthesia prolongs childbirth. Okay, I am going to give you a moment and I want you all to think about it. Does epidural really prolong childbirth? It is true, epidural does prolong childbirth, but, and this is a really big but, that statement does not end over there. But it does not delay the progression of labor, it does not stop the progression of labor, and it does not increase the incidence of cesarean section for delivery of your baby. So it might take a bit longer for you to give birth to your child, but that is absolutely normal. That's because you're under anesthesia. It might take a little bit longer, but your labor will be progressing. It does not mean that because your labor is being prolonged that it is stopping the labor. That's not true. It might be prolonged for a bit, but that's perfectly fine, and it does not increase the chance of cesarean section. So you can go ahead with epidural if that's your concern. Going over to the third statement, epidural anesthesia is not spinal anesthesia. Well, that is true, right? It's given a different name, epidural anesthesia and spinal anesthesia. So those are totally different things. But the mechanism of action by which the drugs act is very similar. The medicine we use is also very similar. Maybe the concentrations vary a bit, the technique in which you are given anesthesia varies a bit, but they are very similar because both of them are given into the spinal column. But I've already told you that spinal anesthesia, the drug is injected into the subarachnoid space in which the spinal fluid is present, whereas in epidural anesthesia, the local anesthetic is injected into the epidural space. Both just the technique in which we administer anesthesia is different, but other than that, we inject local anesthetic in the in spinal anesthesia and we inject local anesthetic in epidural anesthesia. Both of them act by blocking pain sensation from the spinal cord. So they are quite similar, but they are totally different as well. And for statement 4, I would like to share an experience. I would like to share one of the questions I got, and that is a very interesting question. The question was, I had epidural anesthesia for childbirth, but I still felt pain in certain parts of my legs and my abdomen. So is that possible? Well, the fact is, it is possible. Sometimes when you are given epidural anesthesia, it might be a bit patchy because of the anatomy of your epidural space. It might not be a continuous space, or maybe the catheter went into certain it moved into a certain direction, and maybe you didn't have anesthesia for one half of the body and only one half was anesthetized. So it is a possibility, but let it not keep you away from epidural anesthesia, because you never know if that's a possibility for you. And the fifth statement also, I would like to share one of the questions I got. One lady, she was asking me, is epidural anesthesia a risky procedure? And I have to say, I mean, it is a risky procedure, but giving birth to children is also risky. Having a cesarean section is also risky. Having spinal anesthesia is risky. Having epidural anesthesia is also risky. Every intervention has its complications and with its risk, and that is why you have a separate person, the anesthetist, who will be with you and make sure that you do not have any of the complications that might arise. And that's why anesthetists are trained in the whole procedure called epidural anesthesia. And although it might be risky, your blood pressure might fall a bit, you might feel a bit of headache, you might have a bit of pain, but whatever it is, your anesthetist will be right there with you. So before I end this session, I would like to go through the 5 statements I said about epidural anesthesia. Everyone in labor cannot get an epidural anesthesia because you might not be fit to get epidural anesthesia. You might react to the medicine that is used for epidural anesthesia, or maybe you're just too early to get an epidural anesthesia. anesthesia, or you're too late, too far along in labor for epidural anesthesia. The second point is epidural does prolong labor, but it is not true that they stop the progression of labor. That is not true, and it does not increase the incidence of you having a cesarean section. So you can go ahead with epidural anesthesia if you would like to. Epidural is not spinal anesthesia, but it is very similar to spinal anesthesia, and it also uses it uses similar medicines, and it also acts by the same mechanism in which spinal anesthesia acts. And sometimes it is a possibility that you might have patchy anesthesia, or you might have anesthesia only in one half of the body, and it can be a bit hard for you. And statement 5, it is a quite risky procedure, but that is why you have your anesthetist to be with you when you're having an epidural, and they will make sure that nothing goes wrong, that they will weigh the risks and the benefits, and they will tell you everything about it, and you can decide if you would like to have an epidural for your childbirth. So thank you again for joining me in another video, and I enjoyed sharing my knowledge with you. If you like my content, don't forget to leave a comment below so I can know what your thoughts are about the subject, and share with your friends if it might be useful for them. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you will be notified of all my future videos, and till then, take care. Bye.